Hi folks, I hope you've all had a good summer. It's probably felt the longest summer you've ever had. We've certainly all missed not seeing you all back with us since March, which seems a very, very long time. So first of all, thank you very much for sticking with us, sticking with the course. You all did very, very well in retaining your engagement with what was being done, and we're really pleased with the work that you did. But now our attention moves to your return, which is going to be in the week beginning the 7th of September. What I wanted to do in advance is to really let you know of some changes that you're going to find when you come back in the week beginning the 7th of September. These changes are to do with the measures we're putting in place to protect everybody in the sixth form community, to minimise the risks from COVID-19, the virus. The first thing that is going to be one of the changes you're going to find is this. It's around face coverings. Students and staff will have to wear face coverings from the moment you enter the building in all public spaces, and there will be certain classes you will need to wear a face covering with. So we'd ask you to make sure that you bring a face covering with you and keep it with you at all times. Another feature you're going to find when you walk through the door is our new temperature reader. There's nothing you need to do. It actually takes the temperatures of people visiting the building in groups actually, so it doesn't have to be one at a time. What that helps us to do is to identify anybody who might have a temperature. We can double check that because having a temperature is a key indicator that you potentially could have COVID-19. We now have a one-way system around the building. One of the staircases goes up, one of the staircases goes down. We'll go through all of this with you on your return. It'll be quite clear, everything's signposted out. One of the big things you're going to find as a difference is the fact that the entrance remains the same, but we now have a new exit which members of staff will go through you, and it's in the lower foyer at the base of the lift. Just as regards lifts, unless somebody actually has a specific disability or need, no students will be using lifts because obviously they again are a potential health hazard. We're also going to have staggered starts and finishes. This is to reduce students clustering together because obviously the more people who are together, the greater the risk. Another key function of that are learner bubbles. So if, for instance, you are acting year 2, that will be your bubble. And you have to really stay within that bubble. That also means that when you have things like breaks, you have to stay within that bubble. And lunch, you have to stay within that bubble. At break and lunch times, there are only two options. You either have your food and eat it in the classroom, or you go off site. The canteen itself is going to reopen in a couple of weeks' time, and that will be a self-service canteen. Another issue you're going to find very, very different is essentially we can't have anybody in corridors unless you're basically walking from one place to another. Again, it's all these things are to do with minimising infection and to protect you. I have actually prepared a more detailed health and safety briefing, and when you return, this has actually been recorded. It's a PowerPoint. Your members of staff will play that briefing, and it goes into even more detail about the measures that we're putting in place to protect you. But one of the key things for next year, and this is really important that I share this with you, is your role as second years. You've got a key leadership role this year. We've got students who were at school. They didn't do the GCSEs as normal. They didn't have that sense of finishing the exams. They didn't have the sense of having a prom, as many of you would have had. So they're going to need more than ever you as second years to really set an example and show some real leadership here, because these things we're trying to do here are really about making sure everybody's safe. There's no other reason. We want to stay open. We don't want to close, and we certainly don't want anybody to be at risk of anything at all. So that's really, really important. But for now, That's all I've got to say in this particular briefing, except to say we're really looking forward to seeing you next week. So bye for now.